Hello everybody, this is j.gabriel, or Jason. I am pre-recording from a closet or a basement or a dungeon somewhere from a undisclosed location from parts unknown. Anyways, this video is actually going to replace probably a bunch of different videos I've got that I'm going to take down. This is just going into the tips of Bible mods, plug mods, undercutting, threading, and stuff like that. And I'll also go through, I tell you what, we will, alright. Awesome, awesome stuff. Why not? Let's see if I can bat 1,000 here. Anyway, this is take number 3, I think. Maybe 4, something like that. So I tried to catch it before getting like too out of hand with a bunch of different things. Alright. We'll go with threading the plug. This particular one is actually a 3.5, well, an M.3.5 that you get out of these, which I have not used for threading. I've heard of other challenge lock makers using this particular one. Mine is actually like a 3.3 when I take the calipers and run it around with a little bit of pressure, just to show exactly about how much I'm dealing with right up here. It gets up to about 3.3. And I'm going to show you if I can get it up in there, get it just right. Some of these places is 3.3. But it's a little more than 3.0. But it's what I use to thread. And my threads usually turn out pretty good with it. I've actually pre-threaded chamber number 6 on here, and you definitely want to stop at a certain point, because when you're threading you'll feel that ledge, and you do not want to push through that ledge right there. Let's say with this slag, you'll feel, when you first go on, you'll feel a little bit of a resistance, and you get to a point where it gets to where it wants to, where it stops right there at that point. It doesn't want to turn, because you're right now touching the top of that ledge, and if you're not careful, if you go into that ledge, you could, if you have a certain type of a pin that you put in there, and it's got a low cut for the key pin. I'll get my tweezers, find a key pin real quick, show you what I'm talking about. Say if it's just basically about where you got like a spooled section right here, and just a little bit, you can actually get caught in that ledge, be kind of cockeyed or cocked, or basically in a bind, and you pretty much can brick the lock that way. Well, as far as like making your security pins and stuff, security pins and modifications, as a buddy of mine, Infinity, told me, they don't like each other too well. And when you make pins like these, this right here is just your standard rattlesnake key pin that I made. When I had made it, of course, the wavers, stick out past the diameter of the outside of the pin itself, which I modified from a factory key pin. But we'll put it right here in chamber 5, next to where I got the threading. This is not going there, a whole different pin is. But as you see, it doesn't really kind of want to go in there, and you have to force it in. And basically you have to work that pin through that chamber several times to get it to do just what you want it to, because once you have a driver on that and the spring, that spring force has got to push that pin and that driver down so it don't break that lock. And we'll just use this blank key here, bring this right over here, push that back through, and just go through that process quite a few times to finally, that pin finally wears on that chamber, and it does what you want it to do. So when it comes time to build your lock, your driver with the spring tension is going to push that pin down to where the driver has broken the shear line into the plug. That's what you're definitely going to need to work on with some of these challenge locks, depending on your pins. is you're going to have to work them through. And that's why I'm also glad I've learned to get in through the top of these things. What I do to that is I'll take one of these deburr wheels, and in this case, what I did is with my Dremel, I used the 027, went back and forth with and put a nice good little gap to where I could kind of start seeing the chambers a little bit, and you can see where I've kind of maybe zooming in a little bit. There's going to be a lot of zooming in and zooming out, so I kind of nicked it a little bit, but not real bad. And see, what I'll do is I got some copper I'll cut and I'll work and slide it in through there. Then I'll put some j.gabriel steel stick when I'm ready to close up the lock. And put a little bit on there, not too much. Get rid of the blurriness. There we go, perfect. For some odd reason, yeah, okay. We'll go down here with some of these pins I have set aside, because I said I did indeed thread 6. So what I like to do with 6 is I like to take, since that's a 3mm chamber, 3mm pins, take a piece of 3mm rod or tubing in this case, push through those serrations, get them kind of worked in a little bit. Not to wear them out, but just have them worked in. And there is a reason for that. Let's say we'll just grab one of these rattlesnakes here. We'll set it up on there, and if we can get it to go in there properly, I can show you exactly if it's going to work for me or not. I don't know. We're going to find out. Hey, maybe we might have a take number 5, take number 6 before it's over with. But there we go. And see, that's the thing with some of these rattlesnakes. They don't want to work real well with the threading. So that's just the way it is. That's what I found out anyways from my experience of them with them. But they'll go in there and see this particular one. Like I said, the wafer, see, they'll get in there and does this little dance. And like I said, we'll get kind of caught up a little bit. But if you work the threads, you're threading with a pen, it actually kind of helps that you're helps them get broken, and it allows your pens to do more or less what you really want them to do. Now, as far as undercutting, I actually had a subscriber, Terry B, because in this situation with this type of chuck on my Dremel, these three little grip parts of the chuck started eating away here, but luckily I didn't actually overmill the chamber here. It's actually very nicely undercut there. So a way to stop that from happening, he actually mentioned, if I can find out what I did with it now, because the previous take I had, I'm going to grab one of these. Well, they're right here in front of my face. Alright, but anyways, take a washer. So basically you want a washer that is with a small enough hole. I think this hole is probably about like 5.2 millimeters. So you can get you like a quarter 20 if in the States. One of those to set right on that, to where these 3 teeth, I forget what they're called, from the collet or whatever, and doesn't actually eat away into the threading of the mortise cylinder here. And I got to keep in mind, I am taking this stuff off camera, and I got to bring it back in view for you guys to see. But if you try to undercut chamber 1, you've got this lip. Now, this is the fix I came up with. Taking the tail piece off of a mortise cylinder and lining it up and it sits just perfectly where you want to do your undercutting. First take, I actually did this with this one here, and it's pretty much perfect. If I can get you to kind of see it, zoom it in, and see it's pretty much there, but now you don't have to worry about turning down your volume due to the fact this is not going to be turned on now. And I think, and see, the good thing is with reading the Bible, you can go all the way down and you do not have to worry about breaking this ledge. And let me find the other plug to show you. Now it's going to zoom out. I know if you get motion sick, I do apologize. But and try to get to where you can see where I actually messed up and went through the ledge right there. You don't want to do that. So when you get to that point, just make sure you definitely keep an eye on, well, this is actually a CK and this one's actually the C. So I got a little bit more meat on the ledge versus this one. But when you're threading your plug, you definitely want to shine a light up in there and look to see where your tap is, so you're not going through that little small itty bitty little warding ledge there. But I think that's pretty much about it. Since I do file my keys by hand, I don't have a machine or nothing like that, or key cutter, so I have to go through, basically when I file my keys, I usually, depending on where it's at, I like to start with the smaller pins first, get those done, and work my way to the bigger ones. And once I get those to where the core will turn inside of here, and in the turn, what I do is I like to put that one key, keep just that one key pin at a time, because if you notice, once you put your key in, if you hand cut, it won't turn. So you got to take that key out, file it down a little bit, stick it back in, to finally when the whole plug turns inside the core. And as for me, once I get everything done, my key pins, my security pins, I've went through, broke in my mods to where the security pins are going to do right. Put springs. Sometimes I go one chamber at a time, or I'll do all 6 to see if it's going to turn and work fine. If not, then I'll start taking out chambers, the springs, the pins, and see which one's my problem and figure out what I need to do to fix it. It is a long process for me. Other people are able to throw these together like it's nothing. I've only been doing this for about a year. I've only got 25 of these underneath my belt. This is going to be number 26, and this one will be going to my next victim. But anyways, I think that's pretty much about it. I think I got everything covered. I hope so, because I'm not going to watch this. I'll go back through my other videos to see which ones are going to be taken down that this video is going to be replacing. That should pretty much be about it. If you have any questions, leave some comments down below. Anybody else that has a fair good amount of knowledge with building challenge locks, please, by all means, if there's something I left out, or something that you've run across that I don't know about and everything, put it down in the comments, because I'm still learning, and I would like other people to learn, even from my mistakes and my little mess ups and stuff. Well, I guess it's really not no, mistakes, more or less happy accidents, because you can use where you messed up at to practice some things. Like I've been trying to practice over milling, and I really haven't got the whole gist of that, because I'm not exactly sure, when it comes to these wheel burrs or whatever you use to overmill on the chamber. You know, if you, because I've seen them, but I didn't really like pay that much close attention. You see right here, I was trying to go about where half of this wheel is here. I've seen them come down where it looks like a diamond on both sides, and I'd like to see some videos on that, so you know I could learn from and make sure I pretty much do a proper job and not go through messing up perfectly good cores like I did with some prior videos of how I used to mark my keys, until I came up with what the hell did I do with it? It's around here somewhere. It's basically just one of the previous videos where I got that little tubing and able. Yeah, it's like on one of these things that are pretty good for marking where your key chambers are going to be for your keys, if you hand file your keys like I do. But I think that does pretty much cover it. And if there's anything that you'd like for me to explain, go through the process that I can do, I'll be glad and willing to show you, make a video. And if someone actually does a better job than what I could do, I will definitely recommend that video to you. Well, anyways, everybody, I wish you my best. My love and blessings to each and every one of you. Take care, stay safe, stay well, keep it legal.